Now that's factually funny.
In what year do you think toilet paper was invented?
Ooh. Like the modern version or like the OG? Like, okay, hold on, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I'll think on that while I'm tucking these girls in.
Shit, no pun intended, is awful to read. Oh my god.
Like what they were doing?
Yes.
All right, cool. So
Bad.
This will be fun. I think if we can keep interesting things, I think we're funny enough naturally to just make it work. So you told me to.
Okay, so hey, before we jump into toilet paper, I will give you what they used before toilet paper was invented, and then it'll maybe give you a rough idea of when toilet paper was invented.
Do I get 3 guesses as to what it was first?
What do you mean?
Let me guess what they used before.
Oh, okay.
What they used before? Man, I would imagine it would be some sort of like cloth, like a linen cloth or something.
Okay, so rags is on here.
Rags, okay. Before that, probably. I don't want to skip straight to leaves because there's probably something in between there, like.
I mean, this isn't like in a chronological order. It just gives me a list.
Oh, okay.
And then it tells me when
this stuff now, or you gotta wait in a line. It's just if it fits, it ships. You know, just walk in there and.
All right, so we've got leaves, we've got rags.
Yep. Okay.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more.
8?
Basically, whatever they could get their fucking hands on, they used to wipe their ass with.
Like a sheep. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if they just had a sheep sitting outside the bathroom? Like, here, wipe your hands, wipe your ass, and we'll just bathe the sheep later. I'm trying to think of things that are like would be semi-comfortable wiping your ass with.
Oh, don't think comfortable.
Oh, really?
Dude, this shit's bad. It's so bad.
I mean, I don't know, like sticks?
Yep.
Dude, you know those sticks had to have like leaves on them though, right? Like they were branches, not just like.
Would fucking.
And like, were they going up and down, or were they like popsicling themselves? You know what I'm saying?
They were pulling the shit out.
Yeah, pun intended on that one. Dude.
So I'm just gonna give you these because they're pretty off the wall. So you got leaves, you got sticks, moss makes sense.
Okay, I feel like that'd be the most comfortable of what I'm about to hear.
Probably. Well, I mean, water is one of them. I'm not sure exactly how they went about doing that. I just like
the smart, sophisticated people still use water today. So
it's fair, but there's like a
people with money.
I don't know what. Like, did they just go sit in a river and let it like flow? I don't.
Well, they probably just shit in the river and just like got out.
True. Sand.
Oh, okay. I feel like there's people in India that might still do that.
Hay.
Maybe. Ow. That sounds scratchy. Good way to find out if you're allergic to it, too, you know?
Doesn't get better from there. Corn husks.
Oh. Like, fresh ones are dried, you know? Because, like, when they're...
Who knows?
Well, no, because those fresh ones give you, like, paper cuts sometimes.
Wood shavings. Like cedar chips. What do you got, hamster?
Yeah, dude. Right next to your wheel.
I'm not even sure how this one works. Shells.
Oh, yep, I just saw that. I just pulled up the history page on it. From seashells to communal sponges.
Yes, dude, that is awful.
Dude, imagine just walking out of that stall and just some big 400-pound dude who just had a shit ton of Mexican food and just hands you that sponge.
Oh, I mean, seeing as it was like a Roman custom, I don't think the guy was eating Mexican food because I don't think they really traveled that much back then.
So they had a bunch of Euro
in 79 AD.
I was trying to like modernize it and give you that visualization.
This dude said he killed himself by going into a toilet and shoving the communal sponge on a stick down his throat.
Ugh, gross.
I'm assuming he suffocated.
Okay, so I'm reading here. Or how you want to do this? You want to give the history first, or just make up some BS about it, or how do you want to do that?
I mean, originally I would I don't know. I kind of liked how You just like random guesses throughout the like what do you think what year the toilet paper was invented? And then
Oh yeah, did we ever get to that?
no, but you've probably already seen it now.
No, I have. Well, sort of. Is it 1393?
No.
Okay, cool. So it's after 1393.
Well,
right?
After.
Okay. Modern. So I guess that'd be more modern today. Toilet paper then, like actual, not like Charmin, obviously, but
says it was like aloe infused Manila hemp sheets to treat
oof, that's
hemorrhoids.
1815.
Close.
Ooh, really?
1857.
Okay. So that's crazy. So let's take a minute here and think about that, right?
Yeah.
So 1857, right? That's not that long ago.
Actually, I mean, it's great timing for the Civil War. People actually got to use toilet paper during battle because that was 1861 to 1865.
So let's do the math. So I already did it, not in my head because it's too late for that in the day. That was 167 years ago. So we are
three people ago.
We're 2 good generations away from that being your everyday thing. So your great-great-great-grandfather most likely was not wiping his ass with toilet paper.
That's way more than 2 generations, my guy. That's like 5.
167 years?
I mean, you got to think about it in terms of like, okay, me, my dad, his dad, and then you went into the great-great-greats. That's 6
that's true.
generations.
Well, see, my great-grandfather lived 100 years, so...
My grandfather lived to be 92. He was born in 1920.
Right, so...
So I guess his dad was probably born in the late 1800s. So then his dad before him would have been my great-great-grandfather. Holy shit.
Yeah, I went 3, and that would be about 160 years ago.
That's right? Terrifying.
Yeah, you I was spot on there, man. 3 generations.
Dude, we missed it by that much. Not having toilet paper in our life.
You were a couple million sperms away, bajillion sperms away from not having toilet paper. Well, you got to think about that too. What else didn't you have? If you didn't have toilet paper, imagine what else they didn't have back then, I
mean,
obviously, yeah, I mean, your modern soap, hygiene. Let's not spiral. Let's stick to the toilet paper. So paper originated in China in 2nd century BC, it says. First recorded use for cleansing in medieval China was discovered in texts of scholar Yen Chi Tui in 589 AD. It says he wrote paper on which there are quotations or commentaries from the 5 classics or the names of sages I dare not use for toilet purposes. So that's obviously reference to the fact that they were using some sort of toilet paper at that time, right?
You said
or
the
something.
Names of sages?
It says paper, so it's like a quote, like I wouldn't use this to wipe my ass, basically. Paper on which there are quotations or commentaries from the 5 classics or the names of sages I dare not use for toilet purposes.
Gotcha.
But
toilet assuming you were using...
Toilet also meant something else too back in the day. Like they didn't have toilets back then, Like I think toilet was just like the word for the entire bathroom. So like maybe washing your face or feet. But
toilet purposes.
I guess if you're doing that, you might as well wash your ass while you're at it. So
yeah, that's true. They probably could have used it to wash their hands or something, or dry their hands. Oh,
here's something about toilet paper hoarding. We saw that not too long ago. Every time there's any sort of major disaster, we get some toilet paper hoarding.
They probably did it during every pandemic they had back in the day too. The bubonic plague.
You know what else?
Fucking toilet paper.
While we're talking about toilet paper, I want to find either you or I, or if you find it, share it to me somehow. The price of toilet paper and why the fuck it's so expensive now.
What the current price of toilet paper is?
Yeah, I want to see like statistically the increase. It'd be interesting to see the statistical increase of price of toilet paper over like not even just the pandemic, but like I would say from like 2000 onward. the last 24 years, basically.
Kroger, Charmin, Ultra Soft. How many rolls is this?
So while he's looking that up, we're just going to talk.
$16.99.
When was that? Right now?
Yeah, it's current price.
Okay.
I don't know how the fuck to find the historic price of toilet paper. That's got to be some special website I've never visited before. What was the price of toilet paper in 2000?
Household paper products inflation from 97 to 24. Oh, okay. So if you can find the price, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, prices for household paper products are 132% higher in 2024 versus 1997. It says a $26.48 difference in value. So that means, well, this is all household paper products. So this is including like paper towels, tissues.
It's not a terrible amount though. So like if you said 127%,
134%.
Okay, so you're taking, if it's $12 now, it was like
I got it right here. So
50 cents.
I've got it right here. So household paper products experience an average inflation rate of 3.17% per year. This rate of change indicates a significant inflation. In other words, household paper products costing $20 in 1997 would cost $46 in 2024 for its equivalent purchase. That's kind of crazy, right? Because
I would hard to judge though, because I don't know if it's necessarily the inflation of the product or if it's the inflation of the currency, but we're getting way off topic.
We are. What I was going to go back to and say while you were looking that stuff up was it was talking about the first modern, quote unquote modern bathrooms in well, it kind of talks about how shifts in attitudes and practices, including improvements in bathroom habits and hygiene, explain why people in modern society felt compelled to have toilet paper on hand. This says, in the Middle Ages, people considered human waste both good, being valuable, and worth money for crops. So instead of using like cow waste or whatever like we use now, they were dumping human waste on their crops. That's kind of gross. They considered it...
You're on the same side I am right now, history.
Yeah.
Okay. What is this fucking picture of dudes sitting in a communal shitter and they have spoons in their hand? What
spoons, yeah.
Spoons for?
I don't know. Maybe they take that... Is that water in the middle? Maybe they spoon some water and like splash it on their ass?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, plus, I don't know. You have to think that this is going to get really weird, but the consistency of shit back in the day was probably way different than it is now because of the diets they had.
Honestly, it was probably more solid. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, they probably didn't have to wipe as much.
Yeah, I mean, they probably didn't. They probably didn't have diarrhea like from Taco Bell like we have now, you know? Shout out to Taco Bell.
Food.
Right. Yeah, they were eating real food instead of whatever fake processed stuff we're all eating now, or like genetically grown meat.
Yeah, I love how this says that, like you were saying, it was good for crops, and it was filthy and disgusting, excellent for humor and
humor and insults. Yeah, I was going to get to that point. That's hilarious to me. So I'm guessing they just
hand and throw it at somebody.
It must have been like the wild, wild west of like shit throwing. Like, I can't even imagine like how far we've come as people, because this was this was a while ago. This was 8124, so this was quite some time ago. But how far we've come as a civilization that we're no longer throwing shit at each other and we wipe our own asses.
So this might be like the grossest phrase I've ever heard in my life, or like the sentence. It says, people ended up quite literally sitting right next to each other and sharing the communal sponge.
So something that's... Oh, this is a shorter article than I thought, but something that I just thought about while we were talking about the communal sponge, right? Like, and it's something that's kind of... Well, it's fine. I'm fine with it, but like the word communal...
The communal sponge?
Well, not fine using the communal sponge, but obviously there's we look at this picture from the Roman Empire, and it's like these people like shitting and like conversing probably went hand in hand, whereas like today the cultural norm is to, like, if you're in a urinal, just look dead at the wall and don't say anything. Don't look at each other, you know, unless it's your buddy.
You can't even use the urinal next to a man. You have to have one urinal buffer.
How sad is that? We're so you know, insecure about what we have, or being labeled as, like, I don't even know what, just to piss next to somebody. It's kind of weird. But I mean, granted, if there's 15 urinals and you walk in next to the one guy pissing and you, like, piss right next to him, that is kind of weird.
Absolutely.
But if there's a line, and you're like, nah, dude, I'm not doing that shit. Then, but yeah, I mean,
no, if it's at a busy arena and there's a line of people, yeah, you go wherever you can. It's sync. I mean, it is what it is. But, like, yeah, like you said, if you walk in and there's, like, one dude pissing and there's 6 urinals, you don't just go stand right next to him.
Yeah, dude, when the bathrooms are full, it's all, you know, all hands on deck. You can piss in the sink. It don't matter. If it flushes, if it goes out to the sewer.
I mean, if you want to assert dominance, go stand by him and then pull your pants down to your ankles and then piss.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen that application in real life from someone who is sober and of sound mind, but yeah, I mean, that would definitely be a conversation piece that I would stay away from. Like, hey man, why are your pants on the ground? I'm gonna check out Cottonelle, what Cottonelle has to say about toilet paper. But
it says toilet paper became more popular with the rise of indoor plumbing. People switched to flushable toilet paper to avoid clogging pipes with leaves, moss, and catalog paper. Could you imagine being stuck in a bathroom, you run out of toilet paper, so you grab a magazine next to you and you just fucking tear a piece of paper out and start wiping your ass with, like, scratchy, rough, hard magazine paper?
I mean, yeah, if you're gonna, there's times, man, I would be lying if I said I didn't, you know, do my business one time and have no toilet paper and had to figure things out, you know.
I think everyone's been there.
So, yeah.
Shit, I've had to use the toilet paper roll before just to do anything.
Well, so what I did was there was, like, someone had used some toilet paper and thrown it in the garbage can, and I just, like, pulled it out to make sure it wasn't
used toilet paper.
No, in my house, not in public. Let's clear that up. Not in public.
Even worse.
No, dude. Not with little kids, dude. They waste toilet paper for anything.
That's fair.
So I'm on Cottonelle's website, and this is not modern toilet paper, but this is what they listed as the wiping. It says a quick intro to wiping your bum in ancient times. It says the first known example of TP comes from Roman times. They used a sponge on a stick known as a tersorium or xylospongium. And I'm going to give myself credit there for, I believe, pronouncing both those correctly. That was kept in... It was kept... Well, no one's going to correct us, so... that was kept in either a bucket of salt water or vinegar.
Oh, my God.
That's really... That sounds really... Like, what if you have a hemorrhoid, dude? Like, you just...
I'm assuming every person living back then had a chapped ass 100% of the time. Could you imagine riding a horse everywhere you go and then having to wipe your ass with salt water?
Dude, yeah. Yeah, dude. Okay, so, like, for those who don't know, Nate and I just ran a half marathon last Saturday, was it?
Yeah.
And I did chafe a little bit. Not on my nipples this time from the one I did in the spring. God, that was terrible. But, you know, down there a little bit. And I can't imagine, like, just saying, like, oh, I took a shit, so let me go sit in the bucket of salt water or vinegar, dude. Like, the pain of that would just be
at least
unbearable.
It cleans the wounds.
Well, that's true, I guess. But, I mean, if it's in a bucket, dude, though, can you imagine like, someone in front of you gets up and now it's your turn to sit in there? Well, I guess dude, it's
sponge is in the bucket. And you're not.
Yeah, I just realized that
sponge in the bucket, but then you have everyone else's floating particles in the bucket too. So
exactly, dude.
I mean, that's why people died of like the dumbest shit back then.
Well, I hate to say it, but people still die of the dumbest shit today. That's probably even dumber than this. So reading on, it says the ancient Greeks used ostraka, and that was broken pieces of. Oh gosh, broken pieces of ceramic pottery kind of like what a flower pot is made out of today, that had smooth down edges. No fucking way would I ever...
Pottery?
I would never wipe my ass with a terracotta pot. Like, no thanks. Like, what do you so you run out and you're like, oh, I'm out of toilet paper, honey. Can you get me some more? And she just goes out front and just smashes one of your pots and just like brings in you a handful of fucking crinkled up pieces of yeah, just early Chinese people used a wooden stick shaped like a spatula with a cloth wrapped around the end. So like as soon as you were done wiping, you could just go beat your kids with it. Oh, wait, no, we're not allowed to do that anymore. I'm sorry. 1990s kids would get the spatula. Today's kids do not get spatulas.
Dude, now it just makes me, like, we are so pampered. And this is why everyone's fucking soft.
Yeah. It's good and bad, right? As long as the whole world is getting this way. Not like soft in a way that, like, we can't continue on as a society, but, like, soft in the way is like, I think we're kind of getting off topic a little bit, but like soft in a way is like fathers are more present in their kids' lives and stuff like that. I think that is great because just from the generation from, well, Nate, your childhood was a little different from mine, but you know, with more present parents, I think is very helpful for kids. At least I hope.
Love the fact that we went from wiping your
toilet paper
pottery to. Oh, yeah, dads are more involved in their kids' lives. Like,
get ready for
left turn.
Get ready for left field stuff all the time. All right, so
in 1851, a Muslim merchant commented that wiping with paper instead of cleaning with his hand and water, which he used to, was a foul habit. So this motherfucker would rather use his hand and water. Well, this makes sense.
Paper, I'm getting it from the source, right? None of that history.com shit. We're going straight to the toilet paper kingdom here of Cottonelle. So they're saying toilet paper was invented in the 14th century. So I'm guessing what we had earlier was probably the modern day toilet paper. Mm-hmm. So I think it's safe to say our great-great-great-grandparents were wiping their ass with some sort of something that wasn't sticks or leaves. So it comforts me to know that my ancestors in Puerto Rico were not wiping their asses with coconuts. So it says in 14th century, perfumed paper sheets were manufactured, it says, for the Hong... So it sounds like everything kind of started in China, just like COVID, manufactured for the Hongwu dynasty, but only for the royal family and imperial court had access to them. So like everything in life, you had to be rich in order to have nice things, like paper to wipe your ass with. But it also says around the same time in Europe, people were using rags to clean up after a trip to the loo. Rich Europeans used wool, hemp, or even lace. But commoners used whatever cloth they had, including their sleeves. Gross, dude. Could you imagine, like, wiping your ass and then having to sneeze and then, like, sneezing into the wrong arm? Pink eye. That's where pink eye came from, if you didn't know.
And it's from when the bubonic plague.
Yeah. They were sneezing on the rats.
Dude, this says in North America, Native Americans use corn cobs for cleaning.
That's why they were so tough, dude, and so merciless, because they were angry and their butts hurt.
They were quite literally butthurt.
Okay, so yeah, literally.
This says seashells were used by some coastal communities, but like I want to know the anatomy of how that worked. Like which seashells?
She sells seashells, obviously. Yes. Maybe that's where that saying came from. Maybe she sold seashells by the seashore for the people that were using the bathroom in the ocean.
It's fair. The concept of commercially available toilet paper was initially taboo, and people were embarrassed to buy it.
It says, so I got the North American number. Yep, I have the story right here. It says in North America throughout the 1700s, people were still wiping with whatever they had on hand. Most common things were corn cobs and seashells, like you just said. It said by the 1800s, paper was becoming more widely available. So I'm guessing this would coincide with the printing press and like newspapers becoming readily available. You want to look that up while I finish reading this? See what year the printing press and all that became. Because that would be an interesting correlation to see. Finally, in 1857, a New Yorker named Joseph Gayetti probably, introduced and first patented toilet paper. He called it medicated paper for the water closet, which sounds like the name of a band we would make on like Rock Band. Medicated paper. And Gayetti's name was printed on every sheet. Talk about an ego there, dude. His medicated paper contained aloe and was sold in packages of 500 sheets for 50 cents. What I would give for those prices.
Oh, shit. Johannes Gutenberg, a German goldsmith, invented the printing press around 1440.
Okay, so 400 years roughly later. I would guess that was probably when like newspapers were like so it's talking about newspapers here right now. So it says
he didn't invent the
newspaper, just the printing press itself.
I mean, yeah, but it wasn't like the fact that he was making the paper, like that was already made. He was just putting the graphics ink on the paper.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, but it would increase demand, which I would think would increase the supply, which would then make paper more, I don't know. I was just thinking like the increase of paper production, if it would coincide between the two. But I mean, it appears to be there's probably like a roughly 300 year difference.
That's fair.
So no, I guess is the answer. But this says people still also commonly use catalogs to clean up post-poo in their outhouses. The Sears catalog was a common favorite until it was printed on glossy paper.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, I would imagine glossy paper doesn't wipe very well. Probably just smears it around.
Yeah, probably not.
Also, the Farmer's Almanac was a prized washroom possession. It was often nailed to the wall in the commode, which prompted the makers of the almanac to sell it with a pre-drilled hole in the top in 1919. That is like top-notch marketing, dude. Just like recognizing what your stuff is made for.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess what we can draw as a conclusion of the, I guess, world... I don't even know if toilet paper is even used worldwide. I would assume it is, but there's still probably countries that are like more bidet than they are toilet paper. I don't even know if some bathrooms in different countries offer toilet paper. It's probably just all bidet. But it basically just comes down to what's available in your country. So it's like, okay, in colder climates they use snow. In Greece they use ceramic pieces. In medieval Europe they use cloth scraps. They use rice paper in China. Like, it's just... Yeah, corn cobs in North America, seashells in coastal communities.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Whatever's close and not of any value to use to wipe your ass with. I do have one last little fun fact from the Cottonelle website. It's kind of funny. The way they wrote it was kind of funny. It says, finally in 1930, the first splinter-free toilet paper was introduced. Yep,
oh
not until 1930. If this makes you go hug your Cottonelle Ultra Comfort Care toilet paper, we totally get it. So, yeah, I mean, imagine some splinters from toilet paper as early as 1929.
Never take toilet paper for granted ever again.
So let's see. When were my grandparents born? Well, they'd have to be like almost 100, so I would have had to have asked my great-grandpa, but he's gone. So he probably maybe got a splinter or two at one point.
Good God.
That's crazy to think about. So not only are we only a few generations removed from modern toilet paper, we're only like one or two removed from
splinters,
splinter butts. That's insane.
Oh my God. Well, we got to wrap this up because I got to go shit.
Speaking of, what toilet paper do you have in the house right now?
I don't know, Costco brand.
Dude, I have to get something soft. I'll spend the extra $3 to get like the top, not the top notch, because like there's, I don't know what brand it is, but like I think it's one of the Charmin brands. Like when the toilet paper pieces separate when you tear it, it like poofs and there's
dusty.
like it's an explosion of dust, dude.
That shit sucks. It's all over the place. It makes the bathroom a fucking mess.
Yeah, so I think this about wraps.
It makes it look like fucking Mount Vesuvius and just like everything's covered in ash.
Yeah, dude, the toilet bowl's Pompeii.
It's so bad. All right. Well, that was fun. You get to know a little bit about toilet paper, and thank God we have it as we do now. Like, how the fuck did we end up here? But I'm very glad we did.
I am too. I think this was a great item to pick to start this off with. You know, we don't even have a name yet for this, but I think it's going to be fun, and hopefully it gets a little popular.
We'll see. Many more to come.